So maybe what we should do now is ask for some enlightenment. And maybe Bob Chapman from the International Forecaster can enlighten us on some of these issues. Bob, good evening.
Hello?
Oh, wait a minute.
Here, I let him in.
My fault. My bad.
Bob, are you there?
Hang on. No,
Yes.
Oh, how are you?
Good.
Welcome back to the Green Tea Hour. Thank you for coming on, Bob.
Well, thank you, and it's very nice to be back.
Are you there,
Thank
Mark?
you, Bob. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm here. I had all sorts of technical difficulties occur all at the same time. It's really an amazing feat, you know.
It does happen. It does happen.
We were talking about the President's State of the Union address and the piece you had in the International Forecaster about how Geithner was put on trial that day, and he's part of the Illuminati. You have any comments about that, Bob, at all?
Well, I think that the president mixed the boat. He did what he was told to do, which means he's not going to get reelected. The game's over for him and the Democratic Party. I think if he had not listened to his superiors, then he would have been able to kind of waltz down the middle of everything and act like a populist and tell the people the truth, and he might have been able to make it, but being just a politician, he was probably incapable of that. And, of course, when you do those kind of things, you take a great risk, and that's what Jack Kennedy did, and we know what happened to him. And so with that said, we have a den of vipers in Washington and New York City and many other places that run our country, and they keep doing what they want to do. And the only legal way for the public to change that is by voting out most of the incumbents and making sure that Ron Paul's bill to audit and investigate the Federal Reserve is passed, and that happens and ends up with the Federal Reserve being turned back to the Treasury Department. Of course, if that were to happen, we would have to stop the revolving door between Wall Street and Washington, because Wall Street and banking control our government.
Right.
How does Scott Brown's swearing in today? What is that going to do to change things a little bit for the Democrats? I know that they don't have the majority any longer with Brown there, but what will that do as far as bringing things to the vote in the Senate or Congress? What will that cause?
Well, I think they would have to have Republican support in some way to pass anything, and that means because of the tack that the Democrats took in shutting the Republicans out and trying to ram through legislation was the wrong thing to do, because what the result is that there's going to be no cooperation. And so we have a lame duck Congress and a lame duck president.
Right.
And probably very little will be done, and that's probably good, because we'll have no cap and trade, we'll have no medical bill, we'll have no immigration legislation or executive order deeming them to be beyond the law and making them American citizens. And these are top priority for the people who control government. And they just never thought that Scott Brown would ever be elected. And it was the Tea Party that put him over the top. I will say that, and you've seen in the International Forecaster, that in the last 2 months, the banking community poured $450,000 into his campaign in the effort to purchase him. Whether that will be successful remains to be seen. And coming from Massachusetts and getting elected, you can't be a right-winger. I thought what the liberals in Massachusetts did was stirring. I would have never dreamed that they could come back to their sensibilities after so long a time of doing insensible things. The structure in Massachusetts is that the Brahmins, as they're called, who are all luminous, controlled everything until the Irish and the Italians got political power, and now they, in their running battle, have a hard time controlling things. And people have been very liberal in Massachusetts because of that, because they got the short end of the stick. Incidentally, I grew up there, and I also went to university there.
And you know that probably better than most, then. I know that you know a lot of famous people from that area. What did you think about, just to stay on the subject a little bit, what did you think about Obama's comment about, if you're not going to agree to do it, the Senate or the House, I will just issue another executive order to have it done on my own. What do you think about the use of executive orders by Obama, especially this administration over maybe the last 5 administrations? I mean, do you see that being an ongoing, increasing problem for the United States?
Yes, I do, because none of the people in office, with minor exception, care about the Constitution. They don't recognize it anymore. They do what they want to do. So were we to get a new Congress where more than half of the incumbents were thrown out, and it doesn't matter what party they're in, we would have the opportunity to do away with executive orders and lobbying and campaign contributions and goodness knows how many other things, including the Fed. And so a lot can be done if the American people will wake up. If they don't, and this is the last chance, if they don't, they'll live in on their knees for the remainder of their lives, and all their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will be slaves of the state.
Wow. I have a question for you, Bob. I didn't watch the speech because I really, personally, I'm just tired of watching people talk and not do anything. They get up and they give all these wonderful speeches and all these things, and nothing happens but a lot of talk and a lot of hot air. If they'd have took the bank bailout, if they'd have took that amount of money and would have put that into the infrastructure of the United States as far as road building, construction work, or new projects, or governmental funding, or governmental projects, what would that have done, and how would that change our economy?
The economy 3 years ago should have been purged. It's classical economics. And of course, the Illuminists don't want to hear about that because Keynes is their god, and that's the way they bilk everybody. And that would have solved the problem. We would have had a depression for maybe 4 or 5 years, and things would have get better again. The way we are now, they're trying to continue to extend what they're doing. I think they're looking for a spot to take the whole thing down, and where that is, I don't know. It may be in the immediate future, or it may take a few years yet. But that's what they're going to do.
Okay. Now, let's get back on purge. What is your definition of purged? I mean, should they have let the banks fail? Should they have let all the bad notes go, fall right to the bottom? Should they have let the housing market fall? What should they have done?
If they did that, they would have curtailed the deflationary depression. But they didn't want to give up their profit centers and control.
Right.
And so they didn't do that. And that's what they should have done. And the reason why is it's going to happen anyway. Now it's going to be worse.
Right, exactly.
And I see these bankers, and and other people from Wall Street, where I spent 28 years, incidentally, and own my own firm. I see them telling us, oh, Paulson did the only thing he could have done with Geithner. They did a wonderful job. Give me a break.
Right.
It's okay for you guys to roll around in your hundreds of millions of dollars and your $4,000 suits. But how about all the other people out there who can't make it? You destroyed the only savings vehicle that most of them had was their home.
Right.
Now they're destitute. I mean, there's 3 to 5 million people out there in the next year and a half or 2 years are going to lose their homes.
Well, I agree with
These people don't care. They said, we made a mistake. Let me tell you something.